Wants to work? Okay. Good old refresh. All right, let me share my screen. So I think you should be able to see me on YouTube now. Cool. Hey everyone, my name is John. I'm the lead maintainer of the open source Latterly.io, which is a career platform for knowledge workers and emphasis on programming, but others are welcome too, product managers, data analysts, data scientists. And it'll help you learn to code, land your first or next programming role, grow your social and professional networks. Okay, so this is Vibecoding. We're in AI Studio. I'm Elon Musk, the Spearman, and we are 480 turns deep. We have 10,925 gold pieces. And I'm going to bring you up to speed with what's going on here. And we'll play a little bit. I think we're going to complete the game together. And then there are a few feature enhancements that I'd like to do. So basically, I'm a level 8. And if I hit level 10, that's in-game. So I think we're going to be able to play till there. One thing that you'll see, you try to act, but the dream resists your influence, AI connection unstable. So this is because I was trying to play earlier. I was trying to play test in my car. I was in the passenger seat. Don't worry. I wasn't driving. And my internet connection was unstable. So that's a fallback. So this is one of the things when you're vibe coding that you would want to handle edge cases. Like what if you're unable to access the internet? This is kind of like in a lot of ways, it's your standard RPG. I'm just going to dive in and play so you can get the feel for it. But the main way that it's unique is that I use a language model to generate stuff that's unexpected. So you can use these special events like chat with people, recruit, but then you can also do an arbitrary action right here in the text. Like if you go play Dragon Quest, if you go play Pokemon, whatever, you can't do arbitrary actions like that. So that's the big thing that's cool in this game. Does that make sense? And the other stuff is kind of like largely standard fare. So the party can get really large. It's constrained to the square root of the level. So level 1, I can have 1 ally. Level 4, I can have 2 allies. Level 9, I can have 3 allies. 16, I can have 4 allies, and so forth. In theory, I could have like a party of like 10 people around level 101, but the end game is level 10. So at least for this vibe code for a hackathon, that constraint is there. But there are going to be a bunch of these things where I'll roll back the constraint if I decide to go live with this. So let me know, drop a comment if you are thinking this is interesting as we go through. Maybe not right now because we're just starting out. I mean, if it's already piqued your interest, sure, drop a comment. Welcome in on Kick. Is you here also as well? The character is Elon. It's for the clicks. I'm going to level with you. Okay. So we'll get to the features that I'll roll back, but why am I building this at all? It's for the Gemini Hackathon, Gemini Google DeepMind Hackathon. Hackathons are a great way to build out your portfolio, network with people, and you can even make some money. So low key, I'm hoping to make some money. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated. But I encourage you to join hackathons. And this is not just an influencer encouraging other people to do as I say, not as I do. No, like I'm in it. I'm in it. And if you join the Latterly Discord, you can sign up for free. And you're welcome to recruit like a hackathon team there. You can brag about your project there. All that stuff is encouraged. You can also share your LinkedIn, social network, if you're trying to grow on Twitter, whatever, like we're a team. And we can help you grow. So you're encouraged to share that stuff. Some other Discord servers, they'll get mad at you for self-promotion. That's not how it is on the Latterly server. Great work. Good luck. Keep it up. Thanks on Kick. Thank you so much. Appreciate the love. Okay, so let's get into actually playing this game. So now that I have my reliable internet connection, I'm going to hit this attempt to advance the current quest. Here's my journal with all my quests. You can see the previous quests. Passing a quest is not easy in this game. So about a third of the time, you're going to either fail or run into a battle. And the battle doesn't make you pass or fail, but you would need to keep trying and keep trying. And then about 1 in 6 chance, if you roll, basically it's a die roll. And if you hit a 6, you pass the quest. There's a difference between major and minor quests. Minor basically gives you money and experience. Major gives you a chance to hit end game. So you're going to hit end game when you hit level 10. but you have a chance to end game early if you successfully complete a bunch of major quests. So kind of the loop in this game is that you're going to explore around dungeons, towns, and wilderness cells, and you're going to try to get level ups in quests and try to pass those quests. That's the core mechanic. And there's a bunch of interesting ways to trigger quests. So we'll get into that momentarily, but let me just try to complete this. I already have one, so you hit the purple button to try. And the AI, Google Gemini, is actually determining what happens next. As you calibrate the pulse glass compass, its crystalline needles, none of this is hard-coded. All right, there's someone, Alara. Yeah, so I guess there's a person named Alara in this cell. A weary cleric. It's kind of generic here, but if I chat, yeah, that person is Alara, the fallen acolyte. That's kind of badass. And I got a new quest by chatting with her. So one way that I can trigger a quest is just by venturing to a new cell and like searching around. And there's chests and stuff like that. Also, if I talk to people, that can trigger quests. And sometimes, rarely, but sometimes using an item, if it's a special item, can trigger a quest. Okay, so let's attempt to advance. So what you see, failed to call the Gemini API, user exceeded quota. So here's another thing. When you're using an AI large language model like Gemini 3, which is my main model, I'm using Gemini 3 Flash. You need to have a fallback model because this is a free tier. I'm using the free tier. I'm not paying for this. So Gemini is great because you get a generous free tier. That's the reason I recommend that you use Gemini in your side projects, is because they give a generous free tier and they have a large context window. But when I exhaust my Gemini 3 free tier, I want to fall back to a Gemini 2.5 free tier. And so that's why it continues to work, even though I'm getting this error, because it's failing on 3 and falling back to 2.5. That could be a user experience. By the way, that error is not coming from my code. It's like inside the AI studio, it's doing that. So if I roll this out outside of the studio to my own production app, there will be a better user experience. You won't see that issue over and over. Okay, let's keep trying to advance. So I haven't passed or failed. So it's going to roll a 1d6. And basically, like, there's a 50% chance you pass or fail, and a 50% chance you just keep progressing in the quest. Okay, so we're going to keep going here. And I try to act, but it resists. Boo. Got a critical failure. Okay, so not only did I fail, but I took some damage. Now I need to go select another quest. And you can see, if I get into a battle or if I hit a critical failure, I can take some damage. And that can be a way that I lose out of the game. I don't want to lose out. I don't want to die. Death is permadeath in this game. So what I want to do is I want to retreat back to my town. Oh, here's a battle. Okay, let's fight this slime. No big deal. Defeated the slime. I looted a ring of protection. That's pretty sick. Although I already have pretty much max equipment. Just one weapon, one armor. I have a masterwork sword, mithril vest. So you see, I headed west. I was in this wilderness cell, the Weeping Willow, and now I'm in the Anomaly Heart, and I'm going to go to the Whispering Peaks town. So I'm basically retreating so that I can heal in this town. Okay. So one of the ways that I've been able to survive for almost 500 turns in this Elon is by retreating to towns and treating them as like a safe space, and like specifically a town that has a heal function. Not all towns have it. So you can see I looked all around this map. There's a bunch of towns. I think like 4 or 5 of them have a healing function. And what I'm trying to do is accumulate quests, retreat here, heal, and then I can spam the quests here. And this is how I can like progress, basically. And you'll notice in the process of trying to complete, oh, I got a critical success. In the process of trying to complete a quest, I can actually trigger other quests. So you can get a quest cascade. And that's a good thing. That's one of the ways that you can actually progress. Looks like my connection's not stable. Let me know if you're on YouTube. Is the stream stable, or is like my whole internet actually having an issue right now? I don't know. I'm going to keep trying. It worked earlier. Oh, a vampire lord. Normally I would be super scared of this dude, but since I'm in a town where I can just heal, I'm going to go for it. And you can see he's damaging me a lot, but we got him. I wouldn't want to fight that guy if I'm like out here far away from home. But since I'm here in a town, I can, boop, just go to the inn and rest up. You'll notice that the party is not fully fleshed out. They don't participate in combat. So the party really, they're a source of quests because I can talk to them. Here are a bunch of monsters. The monsters are very often generated by the AI. So I use a hybrid generation mechanic where I roll a 1d20, and if I hit a 20, the system will generate a new monster. And otherwise it will pull from a pool of stock monsters or pre-generated monsters. So there's a bunch of monsters that the AI has come up with that I didn't program into the game. Again, that's the whole benefit of this Dreambound RPG concept. So we have bandits, slimes, windwolves, orc raiders, shadow bear, void dragon whelp, and more. Also the characters. So I picked my name, but the class was randomly selected. Spearman was random. And these adventurers have also been randomly generated, and I've accumulated them as I browse around the world. You can try to recruit them basically, but I'm maxed out. So if I try to recruit somebody, here's Guildmaster Kalen, who's in this town. It'll say he's willing to join. By the way, they're not always willing to join, but in this case, I've been around this town and I've solved a bunch of quests, and he kind of knows me already. So I already have a good relationship, and he's willing to join, but I need to hit level 9 before I can fit another person in my party, basically. So the idea is that coordinating or leading a party is a skill of its own. And so it has exponentially increasing difficulty. So you can't just add unlimited people to your party, and that would be game breaking. Okay. Let's go find a quest and continue on these quests. Do I have a major one? Let's prioritize this major one. Critical success. You succeed against all odds. This is like a fallback message. I think that means I'm still having AI connectivity issues. Typically, it would give like a more fleshed out description there, but whatever. A win is a win. I got ambushed. I hit a 2. Here's a stone golem. Let's go. Let me rest up. A wind wolf. So I'm getting experience. How far do I have to go? I need about 4,000 more experience. Getting to that level 10, loot glitched uncommon. So this means that I looted, but the AI is having a connectivity issue. So it gives this glitched thing. Jacob, now this is the content I've been needing on LinkedIn. Welcome in, Jacob. Thank you for being here. There is an appraiser function in some towns. So the content of towns is randomly rolled. Some towns have an appraiser. And so a glitched uncommon item, I can get it appraised, and it might be junk, it might be consumable, it might be equipment, or it might be like a special item that could like trigger a quest or something. But this particular town doesn't have an appraiser. So I'm just going to kind of ignore that and keep going. So we're having the unstable AI thing, which is a bummer, but we can continue to try and roll these anyway. And it'll just pull from like already established bestiary. Okay, so I got a critical failure, took some damage. Let's rest up. So I can basically get through these even though I have some AI issue, which is a total bummer. I expected to have that issue in my car, but I didn't expect to have that here at the house. Boom, we got a success. Okay, so I've spent all of my quests, so I need to go get some more quests. Let's bring up the items. So I have all this money and items, really more money and items than I need because I'm like 500 turns deep. Yeah, 505. Some of these items, so there's like a shield, a torch, climbing gear, whatever, but some of these are kind of special or unique ones. Let's look for one. Here's a damp map. Maybe, and it's actually a low probability, but maybe it would trigger a quest. Use the damp map, but nothing happens. The object feels insubstantial. Okay, fine. Let's go see if a different item is going to help us. A heartbloom seed. That seems conspicuous. Also nothing. And this could just be because of the AI issues. It's just falling back to that. Mana infused residue, maybe? I don't know. Boom. So this one gave me experience. This item granted me experience. That's cool. Yeah, some of the items, especially if you get like a tomb can give you abilities or experience. Here's a temporal stabilizer core. Nothing happens. All right, let's go explore to the west because that'll still be fairly close to this hometown. Unstable reality. Here's a shadow bear. Ooh, scary. Unstable reality. This is like again, this is a fallback. It's a glitch landscape. This is a fallback that happens if I'm having an AI connection issue. But you can see it's still playable. I don't know that I can get a quest here though. So let me go to one that I already discovered and I'll explore the area. Yeah, AI connection unstable. All right, bummer. What I think is happening now, I actually don't think I have an unstable internet connection because I'm getting comments in the chat. Thanks for that. I think what's happened now is I've overflowed both models, my primary and my fallback. So if I actually look at the errors down here, so this is like technical developer stuff. As a gamer, you wouldn't be expected to do this, right? But I'm going to look into it. You exceeded your current quota. It's an error 429. And this is, so quota limit hit on Gemini 3 Flash Preview, retrying with Gemini Flash 2.5 Lite. And even the retry, I've exhausted that as well. Okay, so that means that I'm going to keep glitching basically until I do a couple things. One is I can wait until tomorrow and my quota will reset. Follow the page in case I decide to do that, so you'll be able to see what really happens tomorrow. I could also go ahead and tinker on the game because there are some things that I want to do. I'll show you one of the things that's an issue that I want to fix, but I don't want to fix it because if I fix it, it's going to wipe my game. And this is the longest like campaign that I've done, over 500 turns. I actually don't want to wipe it. If I was 20 rounds deep or something, whatever, I'd wipe it. But I really want to get to the end game. So I think I'm probably going to explain the issue and then in the stream, and then tomorrow I'll stream again, complete the game with my fresh quota, and then we'll actually go on and do some of the actual vibe coding development. But now you have a pretty good context of how the game works. And let me tell you what the issues are. Number one issue is that I'm not sure the major quest is working properly. So I've completed a bunch of major quests. If we go through, yeah, like the quest history, I failed a bunch, right? But I've also succeeded a bunch of times. And that's an enhancement I should add. If it's major or minor in the history, should be added. So you can't actually right now see which of these are major and minor, but I've probably passed a dozen major quests. And what is supposed to happen if you pass a major quest, it's going to roll a 1d6 to go to endgame. Now, it's possible I've passed 12 major quests and just not rolled a 6. Like that's statistically possible. It just seems unlikely. So I want to do some debugging and make sure that that code is actually hitting because I'm not sure. And I could go browse the code. So let's browse it. But if I mess around over here, I'm actually worried that it's going to wipe my game. So I'm not gonna edit this stuff. But let's look at, maybe I can browse a bit. Major, here is the use core. So this is all written in TypeScript. And so major quest completed. Let's see what this does. So if completed major, then it's going to set the flag. And now I should see a roll. Yeah. So if completed major, it's going to roll D6. And if I hit a 6, it triggers the end game. So in theory, that code should be working, but I haven't seen it hit. So maybe I'm just not being lucky. Okay, that's totally possible. Let's look at this trigger end game sequence as well. The other thing that might have happened, yeah, destiny fulfilled. I don't think I ever saw this. Let me copy this. The other thing that might happen is I might have passed it and then just not noticed the log, if it's like one quick log. Okay, so add to log should be appending it to this place up here. So I'm gonna look around for this. I don't see it in my kind of like log history, but it's pretty noisy. And sometimes I'm just spamming that button, so I could have just passed it. And it's not finding it, so it's probably not there. But also, I don't think it's showing the whole thing. I think there's some virtual scrolling going on. So another enhancement. So one enhancement that I want to add, I want to make sure that that end game is triggering. I think it is, but I'm not sure. The second thing is I'd like to be able to download this whole log. So right now, if I go to the help tab, I can scroll to the bottom and I can get a system admin report, which is mostly focused around debugging. So that's a feature that I added. It's a JSON debugging report. But I want to add like a game log CSV, which is more narrative focused in case I want to like persist that story. And I could even turn it into like a short story about like how Elon did all this stuff, right? That's an enhancement. Another enhancement, and this is a, I would say a big one. Maybe it's not that big, but it's a more obvious error, I would say. And that is if I go to a dungeon tile, so I'm going to go to this, basically dungeons don't work right now. So I'm going to go south to a dungeon tile. And now I'm going to try to enter the dungeon. You see I'm in this dungeon tile, so I get a special enter dungeon action. These are always available on dungeon tiles. But look what happens. Object is gone. So there's something wrong with the dungeon objects. So that's the big thing that I really want to fix. And then I'll be ready to submit the project to the hackathon, basically. So the two real blockers to the hackathon submission, one is I don't want that object is gone to ever show up. Two is I need to prove that the endgame loop actually works. I want to see that destiny fulfilled or whatever. And then everything else after that is like a nice to have. So one of the nice to haves is this is just like opinion. This is not like a technical issue, but 500 or 600 rounds feels like too long to complete a campaign. And the reason for that is because the Gemini 3 model only allows you 250 requests per day. And ideally, I'd like a user to be able to go through the game without having to get these glitch errors. Even though they're kind of playable, it's like not a great experience. I don't want this to show up to people. Okay, so maybe I should fine tune the difficulty. So like when I hit a 1d6 to complete a major quest, maybe that bar is just too high. Maybe it should be like a 2d6 or a 1d6 difficulty 5 instead of a 1d6 difficulty 6, which instead of a 1 in 6 chance, I would now have a 1 in 3 chance of going in game. And that would get you in game sooner. You see mechanically what's happening there? So that's kind of a nice to have. And then there's a bunch of other nice to haves. And I'll just show you the README here. These other nice to haves, I'm not going to do for the hackathon. But if your interest is piqued so far, maybe you should follow the page or join the Discord or send me a DM and let me know that you're interested. Because if there's interest, I'll develop this into a more fully fleshed game. And so here are a bunch of the things that I could add if I go for a fully fleshed game. Being able to go easy, medium, hard mode. So right now, it's kind of too easy in my opinion. So it's kind of an opinion thing. Maybe the difficulty is right for some players. For other players, it's going to feel too hard. For other players, especially like me, who I'm deeply familiar with the mechanics and I kind of know how to game the system to an extent, it's going to feel too easy. So a lot of games have this easy, medium, hard mode concept. Multiplayer would be cool. What if instead of me going around this map, it's like me racing my friend and who can go, level 5, level 10 in game or whatever, who can get there first kind of vibes. And there's just a bunch of other stuff. I guess I'll rattle off a few others. Seasons, weather, farming, base building. That could all be fun. Deterioratable equipment. So right now, if you get equipment, it just kind of lasts forever. What if that wasn't the case? That could be interesting. There's some developer stuff, like some of these files are too large and I want to add testing. Offline friendly, this is partially supported, but it could be extended so that I could fully complete the game offline. Yeah, enter dungeon. So currently the way enter dungeon works is it triggers a quest. So you get like a dungeon quest and then you just do that complete quest loop that I mentioned. But I could have it spawn a whole dungeon map. With bosses and whatever. So that would be a nice feature to add. And there's some other stuff too. A meta karma system. So like you complete your run and then you like unlock new characters or new classes. So like the whole unlocking, and now you have a replayability feature where it's like, I want to do more runs. And then like a leaderboard. So if we're online and we're signing up, like now I can like publish, hey, I beat the game in I beat the game in 600 turns. Well, this other guy beat the game in 300 turns. So he's like higher on the leaderboard, or he finished at a higher level, or he got more money or whatever, like leaderboard stuff. Ryan Dickinson, welcome in. Thanks for the comment. Ryan Dickinson on YouTube says, why not 1d4? Yeah, maybe it should be 1d4. So I said 1d6 or like 2d6 or 1d6 difficulty 5. Those would get you to a 1 in 3 chance of completing. And you're right that 1d4 would be a similar adjustment, but to a lesser extent. So instead of a 33% chance of going end game, it would be a 25% chance of end game. And you're right, maybe that is better, more finely tuned. So a lot of this, you got to play test it and figure out what feels good. Or you could have a bunch of players be beta testers and ask them to help you. Like, hey, what feels good to y'all? So I'm open to that. If you want to sign up and let me know, maybe 1d4 is a little better balanced than 2d6. Maybe so. Yeah. Is this a browser, desktop, or mobile game? So this is a web game, so it would work on your phone. It does work on your phone. I can pull it up on my phone. The UI is not great because I'm playing it inside of AI Studio today. In theory, I can hit this. I'm actually scared to hit this button because I don't know if it's going to reset the game if I click it. But in theory, I could go mobile view right now. I also have brought it up on my phone, and it kind of works, but inside of AI Studio, it feels crowded. There's a button somewhere I can jump out. One of these buttons lets you like open up a new tab kind of thing. I don't want to do that right now though, because I'm worried it's going to reset my game. But yeah, it would work on mobile or desktop is the answer, Ryan. SC Zashi on Twitch. Thanks for being here. Hope you'll follow and like it. Just says so cool. Thank you so much. And do I have any questions on TikTok? OJ, thanks for the likes. I'm not seeing any questions on TikTok. So with that, y'all, I think I've given you the background. By the way, the current stream is saved to YouTube. If you missed anything, you can go over to the YouTube channel. So it's the Latterly YouTube channel, and go over to the live tab and you'll see Elon Musk, the Spearman, and you can get the recap. But long and short of it, follow the page and check back in tomorrow where I'm going to resume this game and we're going to try and complete the game and then fix this object is gone issue that I mentioned. Thanks so much for being here. See you next time.